Everybody, thank you for braving the weather. I know Memphis is not great on the snow and the ice, so I appreciate everybody coming out. Josh, how you doing?
Yeah, good.
Well, great. So when I heard about the theme, Read Between the Lines, I think of reading between the lines as looking for a truth that is not necessarily right in front of you. And sometimes we get that from reading a book, or from a poem, or from a TV show, or from a song, or wherever. And sometimes we get it from an experience that we've had. And sometimes that can take years to come to fruition. So that's what this story is about for me. When I was a kid, I was a huge Guns N' Roses fan. Huge Guns N' Roses fan. I had the hair, I had posters on the wall, I knew everything about all the guys and the whole bit. It was kind of ridiculous. I even, for my 80s friends, I had the black denim jacket with the big 12-inch patch on the back. He knows what I'm talking about. So I was a fan. I was a big fan. And then by 1990, the album Lies, Lies, Lies came out. There was a song on there called One in a Million. And it had some lyrics in there that were offensive to LGBTQ and immigrants, and it was offensive by 1990 standards. Whatever. True story. So, but I was such a huge fan that I defended the band and the songs and the lyrics. I was like, it was just a joke. It was just satire. They're artists. They're trying to do their thing. I was such a huge fan of this group. So a couple years go by. Excuse me. A couple years go by. And I'm working Renaissance fairs kind of all over the world. And when you do this, you kind of do whatever it is that you have to do to make some money or pass the time or whatever. And one of the things that I did was make chainmail. Okay? And making chainmail, for those of you that have never seen this process, is incredibly painstaking and very difficult. You get 1-inch pieces of steel and you have to bend them into perfect circles linked with other perfect circles. Okay? And we would do this for hours on end until our forearms would give out because it's tedious work. And you would make 50 by 50 linked squares that you would turn into Ivan, who was the guy who ran the chainmail booth, and he would take a piece of silk and run it over the chainmail, and if it snagged anywhere on the silk, you had to start over.
No.
Right? Or you, at minimum, had to find where it snagged and fix it. And for this, once you were successful passing the silk test, you got $5. Which was lunch, right? So you do what you had to do at the time. So I traveled all around. I did everything, stage shows, comedy, sold jewelry, and I worked in this chainmail booth from time to time. And we were at the Ohio Renaissance Fair, just north of Cincinnati. And the fair had ended, but before Ivan packed up and left, there was a Comic-Con the next week in town. So we decided to stay and do the Comic-Con. So we're working at this booth, and everything's cool. It's about halfway through the second day, and Axl Rose walks in. And what I've learned is that celebrities, and I knew this even then, I was about 19 years old, I knew even then, celebrities most of the time, they just want to be treated like people, right? They don't want a big to-do or whatever. And most of the ones that want some big to-do are generally kind of jerks about it. So anyway, so Axl comes in, and I just I normally don't freak out about celebrity, but it was Axl Rose, and it was like, oh my God. So I'm trying to help, and he's kind of looking around, and everything's going fine, and he comes across this chainmail shirt that we had made, right? It's a chainmail t-shirt. And it's a double side, it's 2 layers thick, and it's open on the side so that you can fit it to whoever it is that you're going to sell it to. So it's on this mannequin, and he is kind of eyeballing it, thinks it's really great. So he asked to try it on. Okay, fine. So we take it off the mannequin, and there's this girl helping me, her name's Stephanie, and we put it on him, and we tie it off, and he's like, man, this is great. And he's like, I don't even really feel hot because there's no fabric in it. It's breathable. It weighs 12 pounds, but it's breathable. So he likes it, and he takes it off, and or we help him take it off, rather. We put it back on the thing. And he says, well, how much is it? And I tell him that it's $1,300, which is, and I had actually done some of the work that was in this shirt. I knew what it took to make this piece of art. He loses his mind. He says, F this, and he shoves the mannequin over, knocks it over, smashes into a cabinet. Jewelry, chainmail jewelry that is fine and tight and now all smashes together. And he's screaming and he's carrying on. He hurls several epitaphs at me, questioning my sexuality. And I was just shocked. And about this time, Ivan comes walking from behind the back, right? And Ivan is exactly the picture you have in your mind right now. Right? He's big dude, big beard, forearms like Popeye. right? Because he's been doing this 10 times faster than we can do it. And he stands there, and he's pretty imposing, and Axel's not that big. Excuse me. So he finally screams and screams and carries on, and does what he's going to do, and he finally storms out. And we're all just kind of standing there dumbfounded. When this little man walks in, bald-headed guy, cheap suit, and he says, "I'm so sorry that happened. I'm with Mr. Rose, and I'd like to make this right if I can." And he pulls out a stack of $100 bills. And he basically wants us to sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, in exchange for cash right now. Ivan picks him up and sets him out of his booth. And we never saw that guy again. And I was standing there with just this astonishment in my head as to what had just transpired. And as I was standing there, that astonishment turned to shame. Because I had defended this person for so many years. And I was so shocked by that. I was so disappointed by that it reminded me now, as I tell the story, it reminds me of the famous Maya Angelou quote, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time."